Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4. It's Friday. Hey. Michael Bruno in the background. And Jim, where are they? There they are. It's Jim's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Happy birthday, Jim.
And Michael has a great story coming up later, too.
Yeah, he does. We'll go backstage with Bruno's very special group in Sun Prairie.
That's right. Fun show ahead.
But first, let's get to the news today. One man is seriously injured, another arrested after a standoff on Madison's west side.
The Florida students who survived the deadliest high school shooting in the country are in Wisconsin tonight. We'll be live as they call on lawmakers to change gun reform laws.
And an emotional reunion as a mom from Guatemala is reunited with her 7-year-old son for the first time since being separated at the border.
Let's take a look outside on this Friday afternoon. Another cloudy and gray day.
The sun was trying.
I think it's going to get here over the weekend.
That's
We're
it.
about to turn a corner.
I hear a rumor that there'll be sunshine on Saturday. Chris is in the backyard with a look at our weekend forecast. It's not raining, at least. We're making some progress.
It's not raining. I can say I'm not Dave Caulfield getting drenched out here like a couple days ago, but there is no sun out just yet. We still do have a lot of cloud cover. We're tracking those showers that have really been falling apart on Doppler track. A lot of that has been to the east, and it's not making it in here. We're getting into a drier environment where it's going to be a lot harder to get some rain. A large cluster of showers over Chicago now out of here. So if you are looking for the rain, how about going to central and eastern Illinois over towards western Indiana? That's where a lot of the heaviest rain is as of now. That's also where our thicker cloud cover is. It's farther to the south. The clouds are trying to thin out. You all mentioned the sun's trying. And as we give it just a little bit more time, we'll see a little bit more sunshine getting on here in here. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV camera right now, and there are peaks of blue trying to show up. All hints of what's coming in for tomorrow. 70 degrees here in Madison right now. Warmer as you work your way to the west. 75 in Boscobel. La Crosse and Black River Falls did make it towards 80 degrees, and that is because that is where the sunshine has been. They are experiencing all of the sunshine, but we'll keep mostly cloudy conditions around through the evening. Temperatures falling into the 60s. In terms of your first alert traffic, we did have one accident to report earlier, but so far the belt line is moving rather smoothly at Todd Drive. There are backups showing up. That accident was on I-39-90 near exit 132. That does have some backups near it, but oddly enough, things have gotten a lot better over the past 30 minutes or so with that accident, so it's likely close to being cleared at this point. The belt line, though, the evening rush is certainly getting started. It's Friday. Pack your patience as you head out. Slow downs near Raymond Road where the construction is going on near Verona Road, so make sure that you certainly are prepared for the slowdowns there. We go back on the belt line. Things are moving anywhere from 9 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour, so 30, 40 miles per hour below the posted speed limits there. So it is slow going. It's going to be that way for the next couple of hours as we wait for the rush hours to clear. But here in a couple minutes, I will, of course, have the full first alert forecast along with that sunshine we're expecting for Saturday.
Well, timing is everything.
Yes, things are looking up. All right, Chris, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Chris. First at 4, one man is in the hospital and another is in custody after police surrounded a Madison apartment complex today.
News 3's Jamie Perez is live in Raymond Road where it all happened with the latest. Jamie.
Thank you, guys, and that's right. That standoff took place right in this apartment complex that you see behind me. That took place for about 6 hours, starting at 5 a.m. and ending around 11. Now, police tell us that there were some chemicals involved, which is why it took them so long to make that arrest finally. Now, the two men that were involved are said to have known each other, but police are still trying to determine how they knew each other and what the fight was about. So Friday morning did start out with a heavy police presence for this neighborhood, and Neighborhood Watch members who saw all of this happen say that this is something that sets their community back.
What any semi-intelligent person would see is a constant trauma that our children get to see every day. When you have snipers in the corner, when you have constant police cars, when you have yellow tape each and every day, that's the narrative of our young community's life, and it's disgusting.
Assad went on to add that he hopes children in this neighborhood who saw all of this happen do not think that this is the normal. He continues to educate the community that violence is not something that he wants in this community, and police are still working to get to the bottom of all of this, questions of how this happened, etc. So we'll bring you more of that information as it becomes available.
All right, Jamie Perez reporting live for us from Raymond Road on Madison's west side. Thank you.
Students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida are in Wisconsin tonight as part of the March for Our Lives tour. Reporter Adam Duxter was at Speaker Paul Ryan's office in Janesville when the students first arrived. Adam?
The Parkland students met with organizers from a local level today as they confronted Senate Speaker Paul Ryan at his offices in Janesville. The Parkland students who were from Florida were in Janesville as a stop on their Road to Change tour. From Ryan's offices, they held a press conference in Janesville. The local students they teamed up with say it's a special experience working with the activists.
They've been such inspirations to me in doing this movement. I mean, if you can see these students like just days after there's a shooting at their school, they come out and they do a national movement, like, then what we can do it too, you know?
In response to the visit of his office tonight, a spokesman for Speaker Ryan said, quote, he takes this issue very seriously, which is why the House enacted laws to take concrete action to create safer environments for those students. Now, those students are preparing for an event tonight at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. They'll be holding a town hall. There will be voter registration, among other things. And tune in at 5 to hear from the Parkland students themselves as well as those who oppose them.
We will see you at 5. Adam Duxter reporting live. Thanks, Adam.
The pool to become the Democratic candidate for governor of Wisconsin is shrinking. State Representative Dana Wachs is ending his campaign. He is endorsing Tony Evers. Wachs is from the Eau Claire area. Evers had a double-digit lead over 9 other challengers in a Marquette University Law School poll released on Wednesday. Milwaukee businessman Andy Gronick has also dropped out of the race for governor since the poll was released.
President Trump once again called on Congress to pass tougher immigration laws, but congressional efforts to pass immigration appear to be on the verge of failing. The president invited families of people killed by undocumented immigrants to the White House today. He claims Democrats want open borders, which allows in criminals.
Where is the media outrage over the catch and release policies that allow deadly drugs to pour into our country? Where is the condemnation of the Democrat sanctuary cities that release violent criminals into our communities and then protect them?
Where 2,300 babies and kids in detention facilities were ripped away from their parents. I think the American people need to hear this.
Democrat Ted Lieu of California started a protest on the House floor today. He broke House rules to play audio that was reportedly obtained inside a detention center where immigrant children had been taken from their families. CBS News cannot independently verify that the audio is genuine.
A mother from Guatemala was reunited with her 7-year-old son for the first time since they were separated at the border. She is suing the Trump administration for splitting them up. Weijia Jiang is near Baltimore with the reunion that happened overnight.
Beata Mejia sobbed as she held her son for the first time in more than a month.
What did you tell your mom when you saw her for the first time?
That I love her. Mejia and 7-year-old Darwin were separated in May after they crossed the border near San Luis, Arizona, seeking asylum. But asylum seekers must go to an official port of entry to enter the U.S. legally, something Mejia did not do. Mejia and Darwin were taken to a detention center in Arizona.
Can you describe the moment you realized Darwin was being taken from you?
One day they called him by his name, she told us, and took him away. We asked Darwin about what it was like inside a detention center.
Darwin, were you scared? Did you wonder when you would see your mom again?
Mejia filed a federal lawsuit Tuesday against several government agencies and Trump administration officials seeking a court order releasing Darwin into her custody. On Thursday, the Justice Department agreed to release Darwin.
What are you most excited to do now that you're back together?
I just want to talk to him, she said. It's been so long.
The family's lawyer tells us Darwin claims he got shots while inside that detention facility. He will now get a medical checkup, including a full blood test. Meanwhile, Mejia is out on bond as she waits for a hearing on her asylum status, which is set for August, and her lawsuit remains open. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Linthicum Heights, Maryland.
Well, it is a major victory for advocates of increased privacy rights. The Supreme Court ruled today that a warrant is generally needed if the government wants to track cell phone location data. The advocates argued more protections were needed when it comes to the government obtaining information from a third party, such as a cell phone company. It's a loss for the Justice Department, which argued that a person has diminished privacy rights when it comes to information that has been voluntarily shared with someone else.
Women in Saudi Arabia are getting ready to drive legally for the first time ever this weekend. Saudi Arabia is the last country in the world to ban women from driving, and women there still need permission from a male relative to travel overseas or to get married. But the ban lifts on Sunday. The step is the result of years of activism and is part of a series of sweeping social and economic reforms known as Vision 2030.
It will change my life. It will change my family.
It's freedom.
Yeah, it's freedom. Yeah.
Many Saudis support the efforts to make their ultra-conservative country more like elsewhere. While the Saudi government is allowing some social progress, it has also begun arresting women's rights campaigners who have demanded total equality.
It's hard to believe in 2018, women still couldn't drive.
I know.
Well, coming up, there's more to come at 4. Lake Monona will be shaken tomorrow night by hundreds of fireworks.
Yep, Shake the Lake is this weekend. We'll find out what's new this year at one of the biggest fireworks displays in the Midwest. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings are making history off the field today.
The team is the first in the NFL to hold a summit and a fundraiser focused exclusively on LGBTQ inclination in sports. One of today's panels focused on how student athletes can be allies to the LGBTQ community, since LGBT athletes are twice as likely to quit sports. That's interesting.
It is. I'm trying to get through this without tearing up. Cleanup continues this afternoon at a distillery in Kentucky. The building collapses, sending 9,000 bourbon barrels crashing to the ground. The building houses around 20,000 barrels of aging bourbon. Officials still working to see if any bourbon spilled and what caused the building to collapse.
Oh, so some of the barrels might be intact?
Oh, no, I can't even look. Energy stocks helped snap the Dow's 8-day losing streak. The blue chip index added 119 points, ending the week at 24,580. The NASDAQ composite index fell 20, but the S&P 500 added 5. It is the before the 4th this weekend in Madison.
The Madison Mallards and Festival Foods are once again bringing Shake the Lake to downtown Madison. Tyler Isham is the general manager of the Madison Mallards, and he joins us just down the street from Monona Terrace. Hi, Tyler. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Great. Boy, the weather is going to cooperate, it looks like, just in time.
Yeah.
Tell us about Shake the Lake this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm down here in Law Park, right on the shores of Lake Monona, where tomorrow night we'll have the state's largest fireworks show at Festival Foods Shake the Lake. So we've got live music, lots of good food and drinks, as well as the fireworks show starting at 10 p.m. here on Lake Monona.
So the whole thing is not just fireworks. It starts, what, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
That's right. So 5 o'clock, gates open. It's a free event, open to the community. We close the 6 lanes of John Nolan Drive for the event, and we'll have food set up. We've got 2 stages set up on either side of the Monona Terrace on John Nolan Drive. The Diamond Center 96 3-star country stage on the east side, and then the TDS rock stage on the west side, and we'll be playing music all night long before the fireworks.
Are tickets required for anything, Tyler, or is everything free? For example, if you want to go to Monona Terrace to watch the fireworks, can you do that?
Yeah, so you can go to the Monona Terrace. That is a ticketed event on top of the Monona Terrace, so you can purchase tickets when you arrive at the terrace. Mallard staff will be there selling tickets to the terrace. But if you just want to be down on the shores of Law Park, on the shores of Lake Monona, and in the event zone on John Nolan Drive, that is free to enter. And you can enter the event on either off of Blair Street or Broome Street, basically on the east and west sides of the Monona Terrace.
Some people are wondering why this is a week earlier this year. Usually it's the weekend before the 4th.
Yeah, you know, we felt like the 4th landed on a Wednesday this year, so you know, it's kind of like a week-long event. So we wanted to be a little bit further out from the 4th so that all the communities could have their community firework festivals, and we could still have ours down here in downtown Madison.
Will you have the human cannonball this year?
We do. So this will be the 3rd straight year. The human cannonball will actually be in the Monona Terrace, and will shoot himself off of the terrace, out of the cannon, and into the waters of Lake Monona. So he's excited to be back again.
That's a highlight. That's a big highlight every year.
So if people are heading
fun
downtown, where's the best place to camp out, do you think?
Yeah, so as far as parking, the parking ramps, you know, honestly, around the city are the best places to park. But then, you know, get here early, right around 5 o'clock. We are not letting anyone come in earlier than 5, so don't come in earlier than 5. But 5 o'clock, the event zone opens. And really, you want to be as close to the lake as you can on the grass in front of Lake Monona here. So
no coming down at 2 in the afternoon to put down the blankets?
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to clear the event zone starting at 4 o'clock. And then 5 will open up to the public.
Well, as Susan mentioned, you should have great weather for it. The rain's going to finally break for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun night.
All right, Tyler, have a great time, and thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thanks, Tyler. Great to see you.
You bet. Yeah, you guys as well.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll be right back. Take a look at this. Some people complain the game of baseball is a little slow sometimes. This fan apparently agrees. There's the College World Series game between Oregon State and North Carolina College. Fellow fans didn't wake the snoozing man. A reporter from ESPN was dispatched to check out the guy, but he was sawing some heavy Z's. She couldn't get him up. Eventually, security decided to check on the man to make sure he was okay. He was. Just a little tired.
Yeah, give him a break. And
that 7-inning stretch, he takes that to a whole new meaning. Well, it is Friday, June 22nd. Speaking of, it's Stupid Guy Things Day. There you have it.
Fill in the blank. It is National Onion Rings Day. It's recognized as a batter-dipped and deep-fried bite of deliciousness that runs rings around all other appetizers. We got these from our friends over at Glass Nickel Pizza.
It looks good.
Yeah, they are good.
You love onion rings, don't you? Yeah, those are pretty good, huh?
Well, it's also Bring Your Dog to Work Day. It has been celebrated on the Friday after Father's Day for the past 2 decades. Pet Sitters International started the annual observance back in 1999. They launched the event as a way to encourage support for local pet communities.
And you may be wondering where my dogs are today. They should be here, but Louis is now fixed.
He's at the vet.
He's at the vet, so he didn't feel like coming in today.
No.
So, you have a dog too, right?
I do. Now, my dogs are out of state right now, but if they were here, they still wouldn't be here because they'd want these onion rings right now. So we just want to make sure they stay back. He is a Yorkie poo. Yes.
About this big?
About this big. This
What's
big.
his name?
Thinks he's much bigger. His name is actually Coco, though. That's really fun. My mom named him. I wanted to name him Bear, but my mom was like, no, we're going with
They're
Coco.
both good
and I
names.
said, all right, I like it.
cute.
All right, next year, if he's up here, you bring him in.
All right, sounds good.
Good deal. And
Weekend looks good.
The sun coming up?
Yeah, there's going to be some sunshine this weekend. I'm really excited about that. So,
after a week?
You know, folks have been blaming me for this rain every Saturday, but you know what? It's going to be sunny this time.
So you'll take the credit?
I'll take the credit.
Okay,
that's right.
fair enough. We'll be right back.
And we've been tracking those showers as they have fallen apart across portions of Wisconsin pretty much all day long. You look out towards the south and east, that's where we've seen most of the shower activity coming from today. It is no longer there. That is the good news. We've had essentially regional low pressure over southern and eastern Illinois, and that has really brought the showers towards the Chicago area, but even still those now out of here. The heavier rain showers are now to the south, approaching the western side of Indianapolis. So you see a lot of your showers and thunderstorms rotating around that. We also have a lot of heavy rain just to our south. The Madison area got in on some of the rainfall over the past couple of days. It's not actually the weekend. It's the start of the weekend for most folks out there. But anywhere from half an inch to an inch and a half towards 2 inches is what has fallen across portions of northern Illinois. In fact, portions of Iowa do have a flash flood watch right now, and those river waters are certainly high as I was driving through that area yesterday and saw just how swollen a lot of those waterways were. But for the past 5 days, we've had some sort of rain and cloud cover in town over Madison. For the month of June so far, we are now above average at 5.06 inches of rain, the average right around 4.5. We still have another week of June to go with some additional rain chances in there. Also for the year 2018 as a whole, we've just seen a lot of rain. There's been a lot of days or months really that have just been rain plentiful months. And so now we are 6.85 inches above normal for the year, nearly 8 inches above normal down in Rockford, nearly 9 inches above normal for the year in Chicago. But then you work your way to the north and things are below average. Minneapolis nearly 7/10 below average for rainfall for the year. Eau Claire about half an inch below average in rainfall for the year. They're not going to get that today. Even though we had rain earlier, a lot of that has swept on out of here. And so now temperatures are in the 70s. Though things are cloudy, it's rather comfortable outside with those dew points staying on the low side as well. 80 is normally where our high should be, so temperature-wise, we are about 10 degrees below where we should be for this time of the year. But you work your way up to the north, and that's where the sunshine has allowed many folks to hit the temperatures that they should hit for this time of the year. Black River Falls at 82 degrees right now, La Crosse at 80. Down south, the cloud cover keeping us about 10 to 12 degrees cooler. Sunshine farther to the north as well. You can see that on visible cloud track about how the clouds really just began to thin out, but across the southern half of the state we remained much thicker in the realm of the cloud cover. But as you zoom out across the Midwest, you can actually see that center of low pressure swirling across southern Illinois and into Indiana right now, but it's moving away from us, and that's going to take the rain chances and a lot of the cloud cover with it. High pressure moving in from the north, that is going to reintroduce sunshine. So as Annie would say, the sun will come out tomorrow. And on Sunday as well, as that high pressure really just begins to settle on. But that's also going to mean warming temperatures do return. So by the time we get you towards Saturday, pay attention to the south and west through this weekend. You'll notice the 90s and the upper 80s begin to return. We go through the first part of next week, and we really see that heat building across the southern half of the country. Eventually, that makes its way back to the north again. So as we watch the temperature trends going through this week, 70s. That's fine. That's about where we should be. But eventually the mid-80s and even the upper 80s do come back into the picture. So enjoy this weekend. Enjoy the nice weather that we have tonight. 56. Mostly cloudy, but very comfortable. We'll be comfortable tomorrow as well. Temperatures are going to be in the mid and upper 70s for those highs. And then we'll keep the 70s around early, but then 80s do return by the time we get you through Sunday. Rain chances by Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Upper 80s by next weekend. As it's going to be humid. Now, we haven't issued any alert days yet, but you know the recipe. That heat and humidity gets into town and we think about it. So we're going to watch that as we go through the weekend. But until then, feeling like Wisconsin. Temperatures about where they should be. Good. Rain chances on the low side.
And it's almost July.
It is almost
it's
July.
It's going to warm up.
It will.
Hopefully. Not that hot.
Hopefully not hot.
Not Texas hot.
Yes. Oh, gosh,
we don't want that
please.
Texas hot you brought up last time.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
A new musical is giving kids with special needs hope.
Addie and Uno is an off-Broadway show in New York City. It features puppets that spotlight disabilities and inclusion. Uno has autism, Addie has ADHD, and RJ has cerebral palsy. The show was recently nominated for an Off-Broadway Alliance Award.
We believe very strongly in inclusion. So we love to see a play about inclusion.
It's also fabulous for young people with disabilities to see themselves. They can do anything they want to do.
The show runs about 45 minutes so kids can sit comfortably through the entire performance. A composer for this show, by the way, is a UW-Madison graduate.
Interesting.
Very inspiring.
Well, there's more at 4. When we come back, we'll meet a woman in command.
She's taking on a new leadership position and making history in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. A conversation with Brigadier General Joni Matthews when Live at 4 continues.
Gray downtown Madison on a Friday afternoon, but things are looking up for the weekend. A Sun Prairie woman has never been one to shy away from a challenge.
She was recently installed in a new leadership role, and she is making history in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. The Wisconsin National Guard is the primary combat reserve for the Army and Air Force and the first military responders here at home. And for the first time, there's a woman in command.
It's like a dream come true. I never thought I would ever be in this role. I never in my wildest dreams.
Earlier this month, Joni Matthews became Deputy Adjutant General for Army, the second highest position in the state. Only Adjutant General Don Dunbar outranks her. What are your responsibilities in this role?
I am basically the guide. I give mentorship and guidance to the commanders and all the soldiers. There's about 7,000 Army National Guard soldiers in Wisconsin.
General Matthews first made history in the Senate chamber in 2016.
Hi, Joni K. Matthews.
Governor Walker promoted her to Brigadier General, making Matthews the first woman as well as first Native American to serve as general in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. What is the significance of that, and what did it mean to you to be that person?
I don't really look at myself as, as the first, as leading the way. I just look at myself as me being me and just doing the best I can. A lot of people tell me that, it's really great to be first, and it is really good to be first, but I didn't get there alone. I didn't get to be first alone.
Her accomplishments are a milestone for women and Native Americans. Matthews grew up on the Lac du Flambeau Indian Reservation in northern Wisconsin.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of my culture. When I was growing up on the reservation, unfortunately, I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. I should have asked my grandparents their stories, about the boarding schools and about living on the reservation and getting names given to them because nobody could pronounce their Indian name. And my dad, talking only Ojibwe in the home. And I didn't really ask those questions, and I wish I would have now.
Over her 30-year career, including 11 years on active duty, General Matthews has a long history of firsts. When did the military first become an idea for you?
I've always thought about the military. My dad served in the Army. He was a paratrooper for the 101st, and I've had uncles and cousins that have served. So when I was in college, I decided to take an ROTC class because I just wanted to put my foot in the water and see if I liked it. And I liked it.
General Matthews received her ROTC commission in 1986. At Fort Rucker, Alabama, she flew helicopters and was a flight instructor, one of only 20 women in a class of 100.
So all the students would come in at one time in this large classroom, and I was the only female instructor. And the two students, young students, came up and sat by me and they said, "Are you our instructor?" Like, yes. Do you have a problem with that?
General Matthews served in Germany, where she deployed to Turkey and northern Iraq as part of Operation Provide Comfort.
When I came back to the States, my parents were getting older, and I just wanted to come back home and spend time with family. And lo and behold, I joined the Guard, and that was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Every job I had coming up until now has been challenging, has been rewarding. The military is a great family, and it's a teamwork environment. I learned so much along the way, and I love it. It's not a lot of people can say they love coming to work every day. I love coming to work every day.
General Matthews lives in Sun Prairie with her husband and 2 daughters. Will your daughters follow in your footsteps, do you think?
One of them is thinking about it. The other one wants to go into education and history. She wants to teach. The other daughter is thinking about it. She's been to the military youth camps quite a few times, and she's come to several military events. She's very patriotic. She loves the service. So we'll see.
In 2016, the U.S. military opened combat jobs for women, and General Matthews says there are more opportunities in the military for women now than ever before. By the way, there are over 1,400 women in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. That represents about 21% of the force.
Well, times are changing.
Yes.
Glass ceiling shattered there.
Completely.
All right.
It's very inspiring.
Interesting. Well, coming up here on Live at 4, it's time to go backstage with Bruno.
Michael Bruno gives us an inside look at the production of Schoolhouse Rock Live Junior, which opens tonight in Sun Prairie. A lot of Sun Prairie in the show today.
Indeed.
That's coming up next on Live at 4.
And we are tracking the traffic right now as lots of folks begin to head home. Here's a live look at the Beltline and Fish Hatchery. You see the cars moving, but not as fast as they normally would without the slowdowns there. So do pack your patience if you're going to be headed home. The Beltline, well, the interstate looking good for the most part. The Beltline is where we are seeing a lot of the slowdowns right now. Some places really not moving that fast at all. You've got 13-mile-per-hour speeds going on as you approach Raymond Road and Verona Road there. Excuse me. Fish Hatchery, things are moving around 13 miles per hour as well. 19 miles per hour just as you pass Stoughton Road headed towards the interstate there. If you are going to be driving from John Nolan towards the interstate, that's going to take you about 6 minutes, 8 minutes from John Nolan back towards Verona Road. From University to the interstate, that's taking folks about half an hour right now. That is where things are certainly moving slow. Now from Verona Road towards John Nolan, that'll take you about 15 minutes. Speeds moving at about 20 miles per hour right now, 8 minutes from University to Verona, and then about 6 minutes from John Nolan to the interstate headed eastbound. So like I said, things moving slowly, but some places are moving up to their speeds. Just make sure that you are prepared to run into that traffic out there.
'Cause I'd unpacked my adjectives. Adjectives are words you use to really describe things. Any words to carry around. Days are sunny or they're rainy. Kids are cute or else they're brainy. Adjectives can show you which way.
That is a scene from the Penguin Project of Sun Prairie Civic Theater's production of Schoolhouse Rock Live Junior, which opens this evening. This is a special production staged by a special group, the Penguin Project.
Our Michael Bruno went backstage, and he is here with us tonight in the studio with a special guest. Hi, Michael.
Hi. I want to introduce you to Sarah Beth Honor. She's the program director of the Penguin Project.
Welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about the Penguin Project.
Well, first I wanted to let you know that Livia Goff was supposed to be here. She's our artistic director, but unfortunately she came down with laryngitis.
Oh, that is tough for someone in theater. No.
Not the best week to come down with laryngitis, but I'm happy to be here in her place. So Penguin Project is a musical theater program for young artists with special needs. They're matched with a peer mentor who goes through rehearsals with them. We do 5 months of rehearsals for this one weekend, and they go on stage with them. All roles are cast by young artists with special needs or disabilities.
How empowering.
And how important for that inclusion. It makes such a difference.
It does, and we often say in the Penguin family that Penguin Project is social change masquerading as theater.
Oh, I love that. Michael, tell us about the show.
Oh, the show is wonderful. It's actually the junior version of Schoolhouse Rock Live. So it has all those wonderful songs that you kind of grew up with from public television. And these kids are unbelievable. They're amazing.
Thank you.
They memorize all their words.
They
do the little dances. Yeah. They're such personalities. They're so wonderful.
And you interviewed a couple of the leads, and their eyes just sparkle.
Yeah, they're so excited to do this, and they're just having such a wonderful time. You can just see the exuberance in their faces, and they take it seriously. Some of them want to like pursue an acting career, which I think is marvelous. I think it's just wonderful.
Well, we do hope that happens.
And tell us the mentor's role.
So the mentor's role, without the mentors, it would not be possible to cast all the characters with artists. Their role is to, first and foremost, be there for the artist. They are also the understudy. In the event something happens, they have to know every line, every piece of choreography, all the vocals for that artist in the event they need to go on stage for them. It rarely happens, but in the event they need to step in for them, they do. Otherwise, they're just a little upstage from the artist, and they're there in case they need a line or they need a little bit of assistance getting the blocking right, getting on and off stage. They're with them all the time.
These are kids of what ages, Michael?
Oh my gosh, the youngest one is probably maybe
well, our basic
10?
Yeah, our basic age range is 10 to 21.
Okay.
And they come from all over the area. It's just not Sun Prairie.
That's correct. We are based in Sun Prairie. We're Sun Prairie Civic Theater, but we have artists and mentors from Middleton, McFarland, DeForest, Deerfield, Madison, of course. So we pretty much all of Dane County, but we are the only penguin project in south central Wisconsin.
What a spectacular
Good for
idea.
you. Way to do something
Specifically,
good.
the Schoolhouse Rock Live Junior, Sun Prairie Civic Center tonight at 7, tomorrow 7, Sunday, matinee at 2.
Yes.
Sun Prairie Civic Theatre.com/tickets. Next week, Michael?
Next week, we'll be doing Footloose in
Beaver Dam.
Beaver Dam. That's where I was, Beaver Dam. Where
Keep
am
going
I?
up 151. Nice to meet you.
Great to see
Have
you.
a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Great legs now, you penguins.
Yes, there you go. We'll be
Don't stop believing.
Aw.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Finally drying out.
Finally drying out. We do have the cloud cover out there right now. Here's a live look over the Capitol. It looks like it's going to rain, but I do assure you, I don't believe any rain will be falling out of those clouds as we go through the rest of the day. Will be mostly cloudy, showers coming to an end, temperatures falling from about 70 into the lower 60s, and then overnight eventually we'll see a low around 56.
And a nice day tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, Chris, thank you. We'll be right back with Lola's Lowdown. Well, the eyes of the world are on the World Cup, and some animal eyes are as well.
Sounds like it's time for this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown.
This week on the Lowdown, it's snowing tigers.
It's an Animal World Cup.
And an 11 on the cute scale.
Lola starts with a very rare birth. A pair of kangaroos in an Italian zoo have given birth to a very rare albino baby. White or albino kangaroos occur every 1 in 100,000 births. Zoologists say one of the parents needs to carry the white fur gene for this to present itself. For now, the little one, sex unknown, is doing well and attracting a lot of attention from zoogoers.
It's World Cup time, and these two young elephants had fun with a soccer ball at an elephant rescue in Thailand. The young soccer players, a male and female, are both 2 years old, and they were brought to the sanctuary as orphans. But for now, they're just having the time of their lives. As are these big cats as Israel's Safari Zoo. Zookeepers gave the lion and lionesses a football or soccer ball to celebrate the start of the World Cup in Russia. 8-year-old lioness Samburu dominated and managed to keep possession of the ball.
From lions to tigers, snow tiger quintuplets to be exact, the 5 made their debut at a zoo